Well, hello there, boys and girls. So, today you're doing the lesson check and roundup that goes along with this first lesson that we're doing in Unit 1. And I want you to work along with me, or if you've already done this, go back and check yourself. You do not have to do the explain it part right here. So, we're just going to skip right past that. We're going to start at the checkpoints. Choose all the statements that are correct. Okay. Solutions meet a want or a need. So we've got to decide if that is true or if that is false. Okay. So that one is true. That's correct. Solutions are separate from engineering. That is incorrect. They are part of engineering. C, solutions are the technology all around us. Yes, all of the technology that is around us is a solution to a problem. Solutions can come in different forms because they help solve problems. That is also correct. And the last one, solutions must be complicated in order to work. That is not correct. The solutions are technology and meet a want or need. They can be simple or complicated. Here's our next one. Which statement is true of criteria? Remember, criteria is the desirable features of a solution, what we want to happen. Does not mean that it will happen, but that's kind of what we want to happen. So our choices are criteria do not meet a want or need. Well, that's false because they do. Criteria can be tested. Criteria are the limitations of a solution, and then criteria are the technology of a solution. So, criteria are not the limitations, that's the constraints. The technology of a solution, I do not think that's it. They do meet a want or need, and they can be tested. So, criteria are desirable features of a solution, and they can be tested. Next one. Janet is trying to improve the design of her lunchbox. Choose all of the following statements that are good criteria for her to keep in mind. So we're thinking desirable features of a solution, what we would want it to be. Okay? So it's not going to be anything that holds us back, not a limit. Time, materials, money. All right? The lunchbox can't be too heavy to hold for a long time. That's definitely a criteria. That's something that we want to happen. It's not something that's going to hold us back. The lunchbox should have sharp corners and rough edges. What? I don't want no lunchbox that's got sharp corners and rough edges. That just sounds painful. C, the lunchbox could use a special pocket for water bottles. Ooh, I would like for that to happen. So that is a criteria. The lunchbox could keep food colder. That's also a criteria. Those are things that we're looking for. All right. Number 5, identify all the likely constraints faced when designing and building a tree house. So we're talking about constraints, limitations. Time, that's definitely a constraint. Budget, that means money. That's a constraint. Materials, that's also a constraint. Sunlight, I don't think sunlight's going to be a constraint. Tree size, that's a constraint. That's a limit. We're not going to be able to build it in a teeny tiny tree and expect it to hold the tree house up. And F is the number of tree branches. That is not a constraint. Wait a minute. It is. There we go. You will probably have a limited amount of time, money, and materials. The size and shape of the tree limit the possible size and shape of the tree house. So we need to have enough branches. It needs to be a big tree. The kind of materials is going to be a constraint, budget, and time. Number 6. In a room full of objects, we can think of different technology objects as blank. We're going to think of them as solutions because they help satisfy a want or a need. So solutions satisfy a want or need. On number 7, we've got to match each word to its description. So we're doing some definitions. Engineering. All right, so we've got desired features of a solution, identification of a want or need, using technology to design solutions to solve problems. That sounds like engineering to me. Constraints. I know that it's not the desired features of a solution. It does not identify a want or a need. And, there we go. Limits on a solution. We think the word limitation. Criteria. We're left with desired features of a solution, identification of a want or need. Well, a criteria is what we desire, what we want it to be or want it to have. Our solution. Problem. Identification of a want or need. That is the problem. When you identify the want or the need. Engineering uses criteria and constraints to define problems and develop technology to solve them. Number 8, choose the name of the item from the picture that uses technology to fill each want or need. So we're going to click the drop down here, and it's going right there. So what do we see? A vest? That's not a vest. Helmet? That's not at his helmet. Gears? I don't think he's got gears in his face. Oh, it's pointing at his glasses, and they are for vision. That's the need they feel. All right, so we've got this circle right here. Vest, it's not on the vest. That is the helmet. It's not the gears and it's not the glasses, so it's the helmet, and it feels the need for protection. Next, here we go. There's our circle. And it is pointing toward the vest, and the need that it feels is warmth. And the last one is pointing over here. Those are gears. They adjust speed or force. We got those all right. Now we're going to go on to the lesson roundup. You're going to have to click this arrow to the right to get to the next page. All right. So select the best words from the word bank to complete the sentences. Good criteria tell blank that an engineering solution should have. Good criteria are going to tell desired features, what we want to happen. Constraints are the blank on an engineering solution. Those would be limitations. Remember, constraints are limitations, criteria are desired features. On B, same thing again. Select the best words from the word blank to complete the sentences. Omar is going to improve his bicycle. He first looks to see what his limitations or blank. So another word for limitations is constraints are. He knows that the biggest limit is how much money he can spend. He also must have the bike ready to ride in a race in 2 weeks. His constraints are, so let's look. It doesn't say anything solutions? No, his constraints are not solutions. His constraints are not a problem. No. His constraints are undefined. That means there's not any in there. That's not true, because right here it says the biggest limit is money, and then the second limit is 2 weeks. It's got to be ready to go in 2 weeks. So that's budget and a time. Well, looky, right there is this. Budget and a time limit. Constraints are limits, often deadlines or budget a solution must meet. Part C. Choose the best words from the word bank to complete the sentences. Engineering blank have criteria and constraints. Engineering problems. Okay. The criteria describe a need or want, what you want it to be. The constraints describe the blank for the engineering solution. Wants is criteria. Criteria is criteria. The only one that talks about constraints is the second one. All right. And that is all that you have to do for today. Do not go on. This is the next lesson that you'll be doing. We'll start on next week. So do not begin that. That's all you have to do for today. Make sure that you click I'm done in the HMH assignment and then go to your assignment in Google Classroom and mark it as done. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have an awesome day. Make sure you study because you will have a quiz on Thursday. It's not for the grade that you make. It is for a effort grade. Okay? See you guys later.